Sweet Mother of Abraham Lincoln! Today's review is for Toy Story 2 from 1999. This sequel is about Woody is stolen by a toy collector, and Buzz leads the search to bring him home. I love the beginning of this film. The video game opening scenes feature several references to Star Wars. One of the inspirations for the sequel was when Laster was traveling with his wife and kids, and they were in the airport, and Laster saw a little boy holding a Woody doll, showing his dad. Laster immediately knew that his characters are not just his, but everyone's. When he sees the movie, Laster always thinks of the little boy. This was an especially trying film for Pixar, as the film effectively had to be completely retooled, but they could not get out of their release dates. Consequently, what we see today was all done in the space of 9 months, an unheard of schedule for an animated film. When working on the film, someone entered a code called RM, which when entered deletes everything on the computer as quickly as possible. Because of this, the creators lost 9% of the film. Fortunately, supervising technical director Galen Sussman, who recently had a child, so she took a copy of the movie home with her so she could work from home. They covered the extra copy in blankets and drove it back to the studio and were able to recover most of the film. Sussman was laid off from Pixar in 2023, so here are some spoilers. The movie has several references to A Bug's Life. The introduction of Jessie largely came about at the assistance of Laster's wife, Nancy, who had wanted the film to feature a positive female character with a bit more substance than Bo Peep. Many of the ideas that were not used in the first Toy Story appear in this film, like the yard sale and Woody's Nightmare. For the first Toy Story, Woody was originally going to be a marionette, and I love that they reused the idea for the Woody's Roundup show. I love the growing friendship between Buzz and Woody. I want to see more of Wheezy, more owls in the toy store coming to life, and the relationship between Buzz and Bo. The deaths in the scene where Woody meets Wheezy set a record for number of particles animated for a movie by computer. I love that Buzz basically becomes a detective to figure out where Woody went. When Ham is flipping through the channels, all the stations show clips from shorts and commercials Pixar produced through the years. What I find interesting is that Stinky Pete is not tied to his box, but in the Lightyear boxes they are tied. You know, those, I don't know what you call them, but they're tied down their boxes. Most toys are, but Stinky Pete isn't. For the scene where Woody looks at the merchandise from Woody's Roundup, mock-ups of the toys were shown to Tom Hanks in the recording booth. Hanks' spontaneous reactions to the toys were recorded and used for Woody's dialogue. So what happened to toy employees? We see one enter and get yelled at by another employee, but once the toys enter the store, there are no employees and they are free to roam. There was some discussion with regard to the song When She Loved Me and its place in the film. Randy Newman expressed concern over whether or not children would be able to sit through the 3-minute ballad, while both Tim Allen and Tom Hanks admitted to being moved to tears by the scene featured in the song. I've always loved that song. I always have that or the Fifth Movie song by Taylor Swift stuck in my head, and it drives me nuts. I love that once Woody unscrews the vent, he puts the screw on the floor, and when the toys find Woody, the screw is still on the floor. The detail that didn't need to be put there, but I love it. I wish that Woody had repeated to Buzz what the cleaner had said. If he's handled too much, he won't last. Just to drive home the fear that Woody has that Andy won't play with him anymore after he says one more rip and he's done with him. I love the whole interaction between Andy's toys and the toy store Buzz. Once the toys realized that they had the toy store Buzz all along, that Buzz could have left and went back to the store. Instead, he stays and tries to help in different ways. He's even happy that Woody decides to go back to Andy, enjoys the chase after Al before being stopped by Zurg. I love that whole interaction, that whole situation could have been resolved in 2 seconds if Buzz showed the others his foot instead of resorting to violence and popping down the Toy Store Buzz's helmet. There's a lot more about Toy Store Buzz that I've noticed, and that's too much to fit in this video. Just go back and rewatch the entire scene of the gang finding Woody up until Zurg arrives and pay attention to Toy Store Buzz. It's interesting that Zurg pronounces Lightyear with a CH like Lightyear. I never noticed that or heard that before. What are your thoughts on the film? Let me know in the comments, like this video, share around, and subscribe.